Yo, yeah, I don't cry on camera, but I don't know what God is doing. Yo, so this would be like the third video, where I talk about being at the right place at the right time. And I'll be like, God, why do you have me in these places? Just random. So I'm on my lunch, and I swear that's when I hear God the most. Is when I'm walking on my lunch. So I'm just walking. I said, Lord, I'm just basking in your presence and just enjoying this wind. I said, Lord, there's anything you want to speak, I'm here. I'm listening. So I'm walking, and I done did one round around the block. I'm almost done doing that first round. And so I see this man coming down the steps. Looked like he does security. I don't know. He had on a vest with some handcuffs or whatever, and he tripped down the steps. And I was like, oh, be careful. Watch your step. I said, are you okay? And he was like, no. He said, I'm trying to DoorDash to, pay my rent. I'm $40 short, and I'm, been working, and it's just, they about to padlock my house. I said, when? He was like, by the end of the day, I'm just $40 short. And I said, well, have you tried this? I said, normally this area is pretty good with DoorDash. You can make some money. And he was like, no. He said, I've been doing it all day. I said, well, what about Instacart? Whatever. And he was just like, he said, you got to be on the waiting list for that. I said, wow, I didn't know that. And so I said, I hope everything works out. And he was like, it's just hard out here. And I said, well, I understand. I'm struggling myself. But anyway, so he went his way and I went my way. And then I heard the Lord say, get that man that money. And so I turned around and I said, excuse me, sir, what's your Cash App? And so he gave it to me. And he was like, man, please don't do this. I'm going to cry. And he broke out crying. And he was like, he said, you don't know what this is going to do for me. And so he broke down crying right there in front of the building, in front of people, and I'm just hugging him. He's hugging me. He's just like, thank you so much. And I was like, it's no problem. And so I walked off and I started crying. Because I'm like, God, you keep putting me in these places to speak to people and help them. And I'm like, well, Lord, I know if you got me doing it for them, you're going to definitely do it for me. And I just keep hearing God say, I got you, Audrey. I got you. So if you're wondering why, you're always helping people and no one's helping you out or whatever, don't worry. Keep doing what you're supposed to do. Keep doing what God is telling you to do. Because God got you. For real. Okay? Y'all know I don't cry. And you know how they be like, why you pick up the phone and you crying? And this ain't no pre-recording. But I hope this helps somebody. Listen to God, y'all. You just never know. You just never know. It may help somebody. I know what it's like to be padlocked, I know what it's like to be behind on the rent. I know what it's like when you're trying to make ends meet and you're struggling. And, he was like, he don't have no food. He got diabetes. And I'm like, it's like I know what it's like, and you ask for people for help and they can't help you or won't help you. And it's like you help everybody. So I know what it's like. And so I just didn't want to see, him be that way. And I don't want to see anybody being put out of their house, especially if I'm able to help. Even though I don't have it, I'm going to give it, So, yeah. Anyway, okay, let me finish walking. All right, love y'all. Bye.